which, you know, you can turn into 1/1s or pitch to thirsts, and then 2 Mystic Gates. Mystic Gate's actually pretty bad game 1. It helps your planes cast Cryptic, but you really, really need at least 2, because post-board you have 4 Kitchen Finks that you want to be casting on turn 3, and you don't have enough natural white sources to do that. So drawing a Mystic Gate post-board against the zoo deck that you need to have Finks is crucial.
So when you look over the sideboard there, we start off with 4 Kitchen Finks.
Yep, for Zoo and Burn. And then Shadow of Doubt is pretty unbelievable right now because, first of all, Scape Shift. You know, Scape Shift used to be a lot more popular and Shadow is a lot better, but it's just unbelievable against that deck. And then all the Dark Depths decks have so many tutors that, you know, they're like 1-for-1 you with discard early, and you counter and blah blah blah. You're just 1-for-1ing early, and then you have more card draw than them, and you can just 2-for-1 all their tutors with Shadow of Doubt. So it gets pretty advantageous when you're just 2-for-1ing them every time. Negates for, you know, Control Mirrors, another good card against Scape Shift. Disenchants are for Damping Matrix, and it's kind of weird because besides Damping Matrix, Celestial Purge does the same thing, because you're killing like Leyline of the Void, Blood Moon, the opposing Thopters, you know, all these red or black permanents that are also artifacts or enchantments. But Disenchant can get Matrix, which Purge can't, but Purge can get Dark Confidants or Hex Mages or Merit Liege tokens, which Disenchant can't. So they're kind of like the third and fourth copies of each other, and of course it's important that you can muddle for either one. Moloku is just an alternate win condition against Extirpates. Playing around Extirpate's pretty interesting, and like skill intensive, and you usually don't need an alternate win condition, but there's still the rare situations where they're like turn 1 Thoughtseize your Thopter Foundry, turn 2 Extirpate it, and you know you need to have an out to that. And then 1 Wrath of God, because the zoo decks, the very fast zoo decks, absolutely cannot beat this deck, you know, with explosives and all that removal early. But the slower kind of grind you out Night of the Reliquary Advanced Charm zoo decks are actually a lot closer matchup. I think they're still favorable, but not nearly as much, and Wrath of God is really good against them, so that took the last sideboard slot.
Alright, so now that we have a couple rounds, you probably saw a lot of the decks being played. How do you feel about this choice for this weekend?
I think it's really good. There's a lot of Zoo and a lot of Dark Depths, and this deck is favored against both of those. It's got a few problems with, you know, random decks like Elves or Hive Minds or Fairies, but those are so small percentage of the field that you know, Dark Depths and Zoo are the big contenders, and you have a very good game against both of them, so I like my choice.
That's pretty good.
Is there anything you'd change about the deck? I mean, you've only played 1 round, but...
Yeah, I mean, the sideboard's kind of clunky. I wish I had more time to figure out, you know, how many Purges and how many Disenchants is actually right, like whether or not I needed Negates anymore. I wanted to play like a Pull from Eternity as like an alternate win condition that you don't have to, because if they extirpate your sword, then you can pull it back into your yard and keep going off. But with Moloku as your secondary win condition, like you have to tap out to play it, which is always really risky for these types of control decks. So, you know, I wish I had more time to test the Pull from Eternity versus Moloku, but besides the main deck I like a lot. I don't think I would change anything in the main deck, but the sideboard could use some more.
One of our viewers wanted to know the reason for Chrome Boxes and like selling for like a turn 1. Mana leaks?
Yeah, being able to leak, or just like if you draw the combo naturally, you need to get it out there before, you know, you get Thoughtseized or before Zoo kills you. And being able to just like Thirst on turn 2, or like represent, you know, Mana Leak, and then if they don't do anything, Thirst on turn 2 is so much better than having to leak on turn 2, and then if they don't do anything, you just wasted your turn. So Chrome Box is pretty important, and then a lot of times, like, decks with Chrome Mox have problems with them, you know, drawing more Mox in late, or, you know, having a Mox in a land-heavy hand, but You have Thirst for Knowledges to pitch them for value, and you can always just make 1/1s and chump block with them out of the foundries. So if there's ever a deck to play for Chromox, this is the one.
They want to know about your Hypergenesis match and maybe your Living End matchup. Do you?
It's pretty favorable because you just have a lot of counters, leaks and muddles and negates post. You have to play kind of conservatively, like you can't just tap out early, but if you play conservatively, then I think it's favorable because your Ancestral doesn't cost that much mana to suspend, so you can leave up counters, and then Thirst is an instant, so like you never really have to tap low on your turn ever, and then you can hopefully draw enough lands where you can Thirst and not have to lose to a Violent Outburst or whatever. But a lot of counter magic helps against those Cascade combo decks.
And then a couple people wanted to know, do you have any idea what you're playing next week in San Diego?
Absolutely not. Not even a little. I think Grixis is going to be really good, and I think Jace is unbelievable, and Treasure Hunt's also very good. So it's likely that I play a Grixis deck, but Jace isn't that good against Jund, which is one of the big decks to worry about. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I'm obviously going to be testing all week in San Diego with some pretty good players.
A lot of the players are already in town.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what we come up with, but my default plan right now is Grixis with lots of Jaces.
Everyone's been asking that. Why no Teleria West? Well, a couple people asked that.
Well, I mean, you don't really have anything to search for. Like, if you're just going to search for an Academy Ruins, then you're better off just playing second Academy Ruins, and finding Ancestral is way too slow. Like, you're going to die
explosives
trying that. Oh, you do have explosives, that's true. But against the decks that explosives is good against, you need to get it, turns 2 or 3 or whatever. So Teleria West, you can play Teleria Wests, but do not cut lands for them. If you're going to play Teleria Wests, you need to start cutting spells, because the land count is right now at the very minimum, and having too many comes into play tapped lands messes up your curve with turn 1 Ancestral, turn 2 Leak, turn 3 Thirst, or whatever you're trying to do. You can't have too many comes into play tap lands. So if you're going to play, more than, you could cut an island for 1 Teleria West, but if you're going to go any more than that, you need to start cutting spells.
It looks like the round is about to be posted. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks again, AJ. And for all you viewers out there, don't forget that you can buy any singles, including those featured in AJ's deck, at mtgchicago.com. If you use the coupon code ggslive, you will get 15% off any purchase $30 or more. Thanks a lot, AJ.
Thanks, guys. See you around. Take care. All right. So we're having our feature match. Thank you again, AJ, and we're going to have a feature match lined up pretty soon. And so there's one of the players who his take on playing Thopter, which today I would say is not as popular as a Thopter Dark Depths combo. A lot of people rather run both of the combos, seeing his success, but AJ feels that he has a plan for the Mirror, he has a plan for Zoo, the 2 most popular decks, which also it's not official data, but by just looking around and hearing, that is probably right. Thopter Dark Depths and Zoo being the most popular decks. So he has a plan for both of those, good matchups, and fourth round he just got paired against a Fairies deck, which he did not feel confident about.
Including against Sam Black.
Yeah, Sam Black. So a really good Fairies player. But still at 3-1, he still has a good ability day 2.
So yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in to GG's Live here live from Grand Prix Oakland. I'm Ben SW, joined by Ray Punzlon, and Rashad Miller is off. Doing some good decks live and cleanup.
Yep.
But yeah, we're just waiting to start round 5. We should have a round 5 feature match for you guys lined up, and should be bringing you lots of good games live. So thanks again for tuning in. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, so we'll get more good decks live throughout the day, trying to get more of the different decks. Like, of course, the Thopter is not as popular, so it's good to cover that.
Yeah, blue-white Thopter. I mean, you used to see in the Tezzeret deck that LSV, people told people to play early on in the season, and then sort of lost popularity when Jerry T won the Magic Online PTQ with Depths Foundry.
Yeah, I believe he top 8'd first, and then won the next one he played in.
Yeah, he top 8'd one, and then won the next one. I see Brian Cole still sitting in a top table, sitting over there, table 5.
Brian Cole doing pretty good. I see. If we have any other pros in our line site.
Feature matches for round 5. Table 5, Brian Kowal against Brad Nelson.
BK against Brad Nelson is one of the choices.
And table 49.